Hey guys, time for an update of the container garden that I just grow edibles in, so let's check it out. Okay, so let's have a look around the container garden. Just to the left there is the olive tree. It's doing really well. Took a while to find one that wasn't in a lollipop shape, but they won't give any fruit in the UK. We've not got hot enough seasons for that. Here's a pot full of chamomile and a rosemary and other things. I'm going to rearrange that pot very early spring next year and spread the chamomile out. Looking forward to harvesting that for tea and drying the flowers. Here we've got a pot with some gooseberry seedlings. Took those from plants further down in the garden where I've been layering them. So that's a really good way of propagating them out and multiplying your plants. And if you want to see how I multiply any of these plants in the garden, I've done lots of videos on that, so check out the channel. Down here we've got a pot full of thyme, common thyme. There we've got some lettuce, and here we've got some parsley. This is a pot with a bay tree in it. It does seem to be quite soil hungry, so I'll probably move the bay trees eventually out of the pots. I've got lots established in the garden now. I think I could do other things with them. Down here we've got some broadleaf thyme. Doesn't seem to be flowering yet, but the other thyme plants are. We've got some rather nice looking chives that are flowering, and I keep those flowers on and wait for them to dry out and then use the seeds to propagate on more chives. Here we've got a pot of oregano, so that's doing well, and I'll be harvesting all these Italian herbs later in the year and drying them, making my own Italian herb mix, so that's something really nice to have in the kitchen. Down here we've got some sage, and to the right of it we've got some lavender. There's some more parsley seedlings there, and here you can see lots of little pots throughout that have mint in them, and that's a really good companion plant because it can help, its odour can help to mask other plants from pests and flies and things like that. And have a look down here. The flowering plant is a lemon-thyme, so the bees are all over that. They really like the flowers. Some rosemary in the middle there and some common thyme at the bottom that isn't flowering yet. And this is a pot full of broadleaf thyme. Here's an interesting pot where I'll show you where we've got a lot more elsewhere as well. We've got some tomato plants, so a tomato plant there at the back near the stick, and a chilli plant just in front of it, and at the back on the fence is a tayberry, and here these little grass like clumps, that's where I've put in some chive seeds, and actually this little seedling at the front is a chamomile, so it's they find a way to spread themselves out. And you can see how far the plant is away from it, so it's done well. Some garlic in this pot, so that's good. You can eat the leaves, and you can obviously eat the bulbs. There's some oregano there, and that'll make a really good part of the Italian seasoning that I'll be making. And this rosemary here, this I repotted on last year because it was just completely pot down, and it was something that I'd inherited and with the house and I hadn't really done anything with. And it's pretty much dying, didn't really have many leaves on it, and you can see it's really come back this year, so repotting things can really help if something's struggling. Here we've got a little chilli there, and then loads of broadleaf thyme at the back of it, so I'm trying to companion plant where I can. Got a beautiful looking pot there full of rosemary and thyme, so we've got common thyme at the back and then broadleaf thyme at the front. And the look of it is just really nice, and actually this common thyme is just finishing flowering, but it had some very nice white flowers all over it, and the bees were loving that. And I'm finding the lemon-thyme is flowering for a lot longer, so that's lemon-thyme there with the purple flower, looking good, and a really tasty herb to have in your cooking. Getting towards the back of the right hand part of the container garden, so we've got a pot there just with a chilli in on its own. More mint there to the right, and this is probably one of the better tomato plants I've got, so that went out first. And and got a chili just below it, and another tayberry on the fence, so that's still establishing itself. Just put that in this year, so quite often when you just put a plant in, it'll take a year to establish and another year to sort of grow a little bit, and then the following year it can really take off. But this pot is full of chamomile. It's been sort of rained down a bit. Had a huge amount of rain this year. I know a lot of people in America have as well. We're getting a lot of rain in the UK, and Sweden also, I've heard, so a wet weather all year round for the world, I think. But I'll look forward to that chamomile flowering and be harvesting that for tea. And here we've got a very interesting tower, so we've got lots of lettuce in there. I've shown previously how I've accidentally planted some radishes in here. Let's see how they're growing, so I don't know how I'll get those out, maybe use the drill. But they are starting to flower. In fact, there's a flower up here. So I'll see if I can take the seed and plant the radishes sort of more horizontally than vertically. There's some sunflowers up there and some blueberries and some mint in that pot up there, big pot of mint. This corner's really interesting. So we've got a lot of annual crops here. So we've got chilies here, some lemon-thyme there, and this is a tower of strawberries that I've recently had to defend from squirrels because they've just been taking all the ripe strawberries as they come. But you can see it's working now, so I'm getting some ripe strawberries developing there and there. And actually these strawberries that are ripening down here, they're on a snapped stem that the squirrel snapped, so it's worth leaving them on actually. They did ripen, they were quite a long way off. Here in the corner, got lots of tomato plants. Again, a bit of damage from the squirrels, but they seem to be recovering and continuing. They all had a chili plant planted at the bottom of them. That one in the middle is the best example. But again, more squirrel damage and maybe a few eaten by slugs and snails. So well worth planting out a load of chilies and having extras to replace any damage you get. So that's the majority of the container garden, and lots and lots of herbs and food going on. And the rest of the garden, trying to create a forest garden there, and at the very bottom of on the right hand side, and at the very bottom of the garden we've got a couple of large beds that I use as a nursery and another mini forest garden. So if you want to see any of that and more of the container garden, then check out my channel, and thank you for watching.